slow, live it up, watching time go. Planning moves, things solid to this cheat code. Get your money, make it big, fuck being broke. Get your money, make it big, fuck being broke. Live slow, live it up, watching time go. Making moves, things solid to this cheat code. Get your money, make it big, fuck being broke. Get your money, make it big, fuck being broke. This how it is, the mission's Benjamins. And fuck the drama and the bullshit, we ain't little kids. My circle small, but my riders heart, they never quit. Get your money, keep it gangsta, solid, straight legit. Never switch like the real ones that die for this. It's fucked up, but this is truly how it is. I hope you're ready if you're picking this like full of sin. No turning back, I represent my vital to the end. Fuck the fakes and the snakes and everyone that hates. I'm not phased, I won't break, bitch, I'll never.
You are now watching M.O.D Entertainment.
What's good, G-Life? Now today, you're in for a treat. So grab your popcorn, your pisto, your blunt, whatever it is you got. Drink it up, puff it up, and relax while we break it down right here. We're going to be covering the much anticipated all TOWN VARRIOS. I know this is a video that's been getting requested, a lot. I know sometimes people get impatient when it comes to these videos. Now, I do have a Cash App. I'm going to leave it in the description. Now, the Cash App is sheerly only based off if you want to help the channel. We accept anything. Anything helps. And basically what the Cash App is for is if you want to get your video out there or a request for a song or anything like that. Because I go by order, so I know some people get impatient, or because I do get a lot of messages, on a day-to-day. This will help obviously your message being read, first, and the video coming out first, and the rest. You know what I mean? Because these people are actually paying for it, and we do take anything. I mean anything, like even if it's like 20 cents or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We're humble with everything we get, because even if it's just 2 cents, at least those 2 cents came out of the person's heart, and because they actually support the channel. You get what I'm saying? I know that there's other channels that are like, no, minimum $20 or 10. Like, bro, how you gonna try to be humble? You're gonna be trying to say minimum of. That ain't nothing humble about that. But I'll leave the description, the Cash App, in the description. For those who want to get their videos out there, or the request of their videos. Even though it doesn't matter, because I'm still going to be dropping the videos regardless. So I'm still going to be putting out videos out there. So don't think, if people don't mean nothing, that I'm going to stop putting out video. No, the videos are still going to get out there. It's just that, this way your video gets out there a lot more quicker, or your choice, is seen, ahead of everybody else's. But with no further ado, enough of my yapping. Let's get into it. All right, now we'll be starting off with one of the TOWN VARRIOS that people do recognize, because it's a large neighborhood and it's spread out all over the place, but it's the same neighborhood, but does get confused with another neighborhood, which is a barrio VST. VST translating to Vickys Town. Now, Vickys Town is different from Barrio Sur Town. They're not the same. And Barrio Sur Town is different from the Sur Town neighborhood. But I'll be breaking it all down here in these town videos. So that's the Vickys Town, is a barrio that originated here in the Boyle Heights area, the east side. Located near the Wabash area, close to El Tapayac. What is now referred to as the Cam neighborhood. Huh? You know what I mean? That is where the Vickys Town neighborhood originated, from this area, and it's spread out to different locations, like the city of Whittier, like the city of San Jose. It's spread out to different states. You know what I mean? The Vickys Town is a very large neighborhood, and it is the same neighborhood. It is still the same neighborhood. They spread into Northern Cali roughly around the late 80s, early 90s, when they headed to the city of San Jose and established themselves there. But they originated from over here. Now, they did also, start a clique in Whittier. And despite what people are going to want to say, they're going to want to say this and that. Look, I'm not here to spread no lies, or, or listen to the propaganda or whatever. I know what I seen with my own eyes, Well, except for the ones in Northern Cali, because obviously that's far. I could only go based on the pictures on that one, and the information shot me. But the ones down here, I'm saying I know what I seen with my own eyes. You get what I mean? Hate it or love it, it is what it is. So the Vickys Town is an old barrio that has already been right here. At least I was told from the 60s, 70s when it was established, roughly around this area. And then it just spread like a virus to different states, to different cities and counties. You get what I mean? But it's all the same barrio, but it does get confused often with like the Barrio Sur Town and stuff like that. But they're all different. This VST is different. This is for the Vickys Town, and they continue to still represent and put theirs on the map. Now, another old barrio that I have already covered several times right here in different videos, so I won't go so much in depth in this one, is the barrio Frogtown. Barrio Frogtown is a neighborhood that's located right here in Nellis in the Elysian Park Valley area. By the riverbed is where you're able to find this barrio down Riverside, you know what I mean? Riverside Drive, you know what I mean? Is where you're able to find the Frogtown. Frogtown being one of these old barrios that is well established, has been right here for a very long time. The reason why they're called Frogtown is because before, when it would rain, due to the riverbed being right there and the vegetation that would grow, you would get a lot of frogs, especially when it would rain. So that is the reason why it's referred to as Frogtown, and not only by the gang itself, but that is how the locals also would call that side, the Elysian Park Valley, you know what I mean? Because due to all the frogs that were there. Now, obviously, you don't see as much frogs as you used to. I mean, occasionally you do still have them, but not to, what it was then. But that is the reason why this barrio is called Frogtown, you know what I mean? That is how they got their name and why you see it tattooed on them and symbolized and all of that. And it is a very, very old neighborhood, you know what I mean? One of the pioneers right here, you know what I'm saying? The Frogtown Rifa is not playing, the FTR, the Fuck the Rest, Frogtown Rifa still continue to represent for theirs. Now, for the next barrio on the list, we actually have to make our way to the area of North Hills. Yes, North Hills is a real location. When people talk about this area, for some odd reason, they get it confused with Panorama or Van Nuys. No, it's considered North Hills. And this area, North Hills, is a very treacherous area, bro. It cracks in this NH. You know what I'm saying? Because in this area where this next town neighborhood's at, very chaotic. You have so many different barrios there in the area of North Hills, which is home to the barrio Vickys Town. Yes, Vickys Town. That's in Vincent. That's VCT, Vickys Town. And Vickys Town is located right here in the battle zone, where you have different barrios. You got the Langdons, you got Columbus, you got Fly Street, you got the Willis Boys. Man, you got everybody right here. And the thing is that none of these barrios get along with each other. And then they're all jam-packed just within the same area. So you can only imagine how chaotic it gets. And the barrio Vickys Town is not a large neighborhood, you know what I mean? When it comes to, this area, because, you do have gangs like Blythe Street and Langdon that are more larger. But don't get it twisted, homie. The Vickys Town has down-ass riders. I should know. I got several homies out of Vickys Town. I know they handle business. I know they with the business. You know what I mean? These guys are not playing. I was told that the Vickys Town is roughly more than 100 heads to the Vickys Town neighborhood. So a little bit more of the smaller side. But like I said, don't get it twisted. And their neighborhood is everything right here that's on Plummer Street to Noble Avenue to Nordhoff, and Nordhoff, their territory still goes all the way down to Sepulveda. So everything that's in the middle of that is considered their barrio. And anyone that knows the area knows that there's a shitload of apartments throughout this area. You know what I mean? So that's throughout Tupper, that's throughout Burnett Avenue, that's throughout all of that, on that side of that area. And the Vickys Town, like I said, they do got real homies that hold it down for that Vickys Town. They ain't playing, and they continue to still be, active and holding it down for them. And I know people see, like KSM, which was a pretty large tag bangers that people recognize in DEF, another well-known big tag. They ended up getting into the Vickys Town. That's why people see it up like that. Because I often do get asked like, "Hey, what's up with this?" Well, they're cliquas, from their hood. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it is. You get what I mean? Because I know people thought that KSM was his own barrio. No, it was on its way over there, but then they just got into the Vickys Town neighborhood. Now, Vickys Town, like I said, has already been right here since the 80s and continue to still represent for theirs. Shout out to the homie Gizmo. Shout out to the homie Taz. Shout out to Marihuano. Shout out to Knuckles. And shout out to all the homies from Vickys Town that I have that's still holding it down. Now, to find the next barrio on the list, now for this one, we actually have to slide on through to the area of Bell Gardens in the south side. Bell Gardens is an area home to one of these towns, neighborhoods, and it is known as the RT. Now, RT translating to Barrio Rookstown. That's Rookstown. Now, people often ask and wonder, well, what exactly is Rook? Because it's not a street. Rook is several things, actually. Rook is actually the name of a crow's nest. And another thing that that is a rook is in the game of chess. It's your two important pieces when it comes to chess. The ones that pretty much defend the castle and gobble up everything and move pretty much all over the damn chessboard. So those are two things that are known as rooks. Believe it or not, gang members are not as stupid as people think they are. You get what I mean? Now, the Vital Rooks Town is located right here, close to the Ford's Park in Bell Gardens, throughout this back end and back streets. In the danger zone, because obviously there's so many different hoods within this area, but they're located right there on Gotham, by Gotham and Loveland, and throughout all of those back streets is where you're able to find the Vital Rooks Town. Now, the Vital Rooks Town is a barrio that was around right here since the 70s, 80s, por allí, I was told. They were roughly always more of a smaller neighborhood. They're not as large as like some of these other barrios around the area, like let's say like the Bell Garden locals and stuff like that. But don't ever get it twisted, homie. The Rookstown handle business. You know what I mean? They're a real neighborhood that continues to still be right there and representing for theirs. These guys definitely ain't no joke. And they've been there and continue to still be there. Despite what individuals are gonna want to say, the RT is a real neighborhood and has been right here for a cool minute by the Forge Park. Now, to find the next town barrio on the list, we actually have to make our way to the very famous, infamous place of Watts. Watts is another area where you're able to find one of these town barrios. That often gets forgotten, you know what I mean? When people are talking about the area of Watts and the neighborhoods, when it comes to Hispanics, people tend to, bring up more like the Grave Street Watts and the Southside Watts and the little Watts, even though they're not in, Watts. But there is several other gangs within the Watts area, and one of them is a towns barrio, which is known as the Barrio MTS. Barrio MTS, translating to Barrio Motor Town Stoners. Yes, Barrio Motor Town Stoners is a real neighborhood, MTS. And I often do see that people try to confuse this MTS for Los Muertos. No, they're two different neighborhoods. They're two, they have nothing, except the same initials, but they're two whole different barrios. You get what I mean? So it's not that they make it stand for something else and stuff like that. Like I was seeing people put, no, it has nothing to do with that. They just have the same abbreviations, but that's the only thing that they share in common, One is Los Muertos, this is Barrio Motor Town Stoners. And the reason why it's called Barrio Motor Town Stoners is actually named after the avenue right here, Motor Avenue. It's their own town, their own little version of their town, their barrio, and obviously, people know what Stoners is. And this is an average size barrio, you know what I mean? They're not like, a big hood, but they're not a small hood either, you know what I mean? And they've been right here already for a cool minute doing it right here in Watts. Even though, people often, bring up those other neighborhoods. This is another neighborhood that's right here, you know what I mean? And they've been right here, doing it. These guys ain't no suckers. They continue to still represent theirs and put the Motor Town on the map. Now, for the next town barrio, we actually may have to make our way down to the area of Lancaster, to the east side, to be exact. The east side of Lancaster, where you're able to find one of these other town barrios. Now, the barrio that is located right here in Lancaster, on the east side, it is the Barrio MTC. MTC translating to Barrio Midtown Criminals. The Midtown Criminals is a neighborhood that's been right here in Lancaster already, for a cool minute, since, late 80s, early 90s when this neighborhood was established. Now, I do realize that there is an MTC in the 818 Valley right there in NH. But that MTC and this MTC are two different MTCs. At least that's what I was told. While the one in the San Fernando Valley is, Barrio More Than Crazy or Mexicans Taking Control. This one over here on this side is just referred to as Midtown Criminals. That is what their barrio stands for. They have no other meaning to it. That's the one and only, name that they use. The Midtown Criminals. And yes, they are a real barrio right here. You know what I mean? One of this area's, largest and, more recognizable hoods. You know what I mean? When people think about Lancaster, it's one of the neighborhoods that does pop into mind when we're talking about, barrios. The MTCs ain't no joke right here. You know what I mean? At least what I was told, that there are roughly more than 65 members to the MTC neighborhood. So, for it being this area, because obviously, it's more like gentrified, and it's not like, it's not jam-packed compressed like Los Angeles is. So for the area, it is, a pretty large neighborhood. And they continue to still be right here in the area and putting it down for theirs and their neighborhood for that Midtown Criminals gang.
Thank you for watching M.O.D Entertainment. Make sure you like and subscribe.